Yeah.
Let's just go into again, sticking with the modern awards. And, again, I know, talking to certain businesses, and I get involved with some of the accounting firms' clients as well. So when they talk about employment contract overriding modern awards, uh, what do we need to know here? There's heaps of confusion.
Yeah. An employment contract cannot be worse off than the modern award. So earlier on, I said you've got the NES, then it goes the modern award, then it has potentially an enterprise agreement, and then an employment contract. So that's kind of the layers. A contract cannot undercut an award. It must be the same or if not better. Contracts can improve terms and conditions of employment, but not reduce them. And that's where I go back from the remuneration perspective, they're
Yes.
better off overall.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and it's critical that the contracts are aligned to the role and the individual. The amount of times that we get clients saying, I just want a full-time template to cover all my full-time staff.
Yep.
I
And that's
respect that, but the T's and C's is going to be different for the different people within your business, most likely. Not
absolutely.
always the case, but most likely, especially if you've got different functions and roles. Um, like I can tell you, our HR partners versus our marketing versus our general manager, all different T's and C's within the contract to align with the applicable laws and legislations.
And I think
So
and I think that's
it's
where people get it wrong, don't they? Because
yes, they
you're right.
do.
They
They
say,
do.
"Well, we'll just get the one and cover everybody." And maybe 20 years ago, you could have been able to do that, but
Yeah.
now you can't.
Yeah. And so that the biggest takeaway there is don't just grab a template from Dr. Google or ChatGPT or your friend's business or purchase one template that applies to everyone because that's generally where it comes undone. And then when things go sour, a lot of the time the contract doesn't support you to execute whatever you may need to do.
Yeah, and you see it all the time. Well, I do, and I'm sure people that are business owners, you may be in this boat, but I know I see it all the time in terms of nearly yearly will, and I know in previous shows we've spoken about reviews and performance reviews and so on, and role changes and roles change, but the employment agreement that they were given at the start of there when they started is very different to today, being 28th of April 2026 when they started 2 years ago, and it's not updated.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't always recommend a new contract uh, for a pay rise, generally a letter. New role, 100%
Role.
start clean, and because then you know they've always got the up to date. The amount of times we get clients going, oh, I've got this employee, they've been 20 years. I either don't have a contract or I've got the one when they first started and they might have been on 45,000. Now they're at 130,000 type of thing. So because they've been here for 20 years and their roles change and the business has changed. So to get in the habit to make sure that you have up to date is really important. And when we get a new client, they'll say, oh, do we have, say, for example, they've engaged us for new contracts. Do we need to roll them out to all staff? We assess the situation and the risk of doing it versus not. Staff resist change. They don't like it. And if I'm asking them to sign a contract, they're like, oh, what's going on? I've been here for 3 years. So it's all in the risk assessment and your communication when you're deploying these type of things.
Yeah, I'd agree. And to people, to employers that don't have updated employment agreements to their employees, risks, I know I'll jump into that now in terms of just, is it fair to assume every employee should have an employment agreement
Oh, 100%.
up to
What?
date?
Yes, 100%. Every employee should have one. And we see underpayments occur so often because businesses don't do their due diligence. They don't review the pay rate or the salary or the way the remuneration is packaged. So it's really important that you have the right T's and C's within your contracts,
Mm.
and specifically around the remuneration side
Yep.
of things. People, what we don't, sometimes it's deliberate, but most of the time, non-compliance from a pay perspective isn't a deliberate act, it's unintentional, but it's making sure that you get up to speed and fix the potential errors. Um,
Can people get caught out with the? So now I was even chatting to it's these are the sorts of things that come out. Neighbour's place, barbecue. It was Anzac Day, and funnily enough, we were talking about these all-inclusive type of salaries, and it's an interesting thing that you get into conversations, especially while we got into the conversation about the EV salary sacrifice, and then someone else said, "Oh, we've got that as an all-inclusive," and it's like I was even confused.
yeah.
How do we get? Is that where we get caught out as business owners?
Yes, and not stipulating within that remuneration clause what's covered, what's not, what's this entitled to, and because there is so much underpayment going out there, as I said, most of the time unintentional, it's actually a criminal offence now that came into play last year, that underpayments can lead to significant penalties and even potential jail time. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's important that you get it right, and I'm I'm not knowledgeable in that is not going to cut it. You're
Yeah.
an employer, so you need to engage the
Absolutely.
right experts to ensure that they've got best practice in place.